It's winter again, and for me that means staying inside, sitting on my computer under blankets a lot, and playing random itch.io games I bought in a bundle 5 years ago and never touched until now. As soon as I saw the store page, I was immediately drawn to this one. Match-3 games are comfort food, not just to me, but also to the Facebook grandma that lives in my soul, and this one looked like something I'd find hidden on a grimy CD-ROM in a Goodwill or something. The cover art also gave me mad Puzzle Quest vibes, which is always a good thing. You are a tiny lich sitting on top of your screen, and tiny heroes are trying to ransack your home and steal your shiny bits. Fortunately for you, you have the power of God and anime, which manifests in your ability to match little monster icons to summon your creatures. Instead of commanding monsters directly, you're creating potions. You match monsters on the grid to fill up your potions, and once they're full, you summon the corresponding monster to defend your tower. These monsters then fight the heroes, buying you time and keeping the invaders from reaching the next level, and eventually your tower. There are a couple quirks. For one, you don't need to make a match in order to move a tile, you can just keep moving them around until things work out for you. You also can't move a tile into an empty space, which is really annoying for someone used to games like Tetris Attack. Beyond that though, the actual gameplay loop is pretty straightforward. You're matching 3 of the same monster type on the grid to earn essence, match 2 rows at once, and you add a bottle to the grid. Collect 3 bottles, and you get to choose one of 3 spells. You can either summon all of one monster type at once, unleash meteors to randomly clear tiles, or shuffle the board. The shuffle is way less valuable here because you can move things around endlessly anyway, but it's still a nice thing to have. Every monster type and every hero type has slightly unique stats: health, attack, physical defense, and special defense, and they attack with either physical or special moves. So there is a strategic element where certain monsters will fare better against certain heroes depending on the matchups. It's really not huge, but it's there, and it at least shows the developers thought about what they were making. Your realm also has 7 different locations, each with unique monsters. Every time heroes push through to the next location, your leftover essence transforms into a barrier that holds them back temporarily. It's a nice touch that makes you feel like your effort isn't wasted even when things aren't going your way. Alright, so here's where I need to be honest with you. This game makes some interesting design choices that end up being pretty frustrating. Let's break down what I mean. First of all, the game runs in real time, which isn't my favorite in a match-3 game. Another nitpick I have is this giant red bar at the bottom that keeps filling for every time new monsters are added. This doesn't add useful information and doesn't need to be this big and just makes me anxious. Those two things are little nitpicks, but my main complaint here is the progression. It feels incredibly flat, and that's putting it pretty nicely. You see that little map in the bottom left corner? That shows your locations, like levels, but here's the catch: you progress by losing. There's no victory state in the traditional sense. You're not working towards winning, you're working towards surviving as long as possible while trying to get a high score. The monsters you unlock get stronger the further you're pushed back, which makes some sense thematically. You're retreating further and further into your own turf after all, but it's a Pyrrhic victory at best. I got pretty far, and I never once felt like I was succeeding. It just felt like I was delaying the inevitable. You can't go back to previous levels, and you can't push back the heroes forever, so it's essentially a battle of attrition from start to finish. You survive as long as you can, you rack up points, and eventually you lose. There's no upgrades to find or anything either. There's no win condition, and while some people might find some kind of zen in that, I found it a little disappointing. Casual games like this thrive on those dopamine hits of steady progress, which is why PopCap games have so many little achievements and scoring systems to keep you busy. With that being said, there is something genuinely compelling about the gameplay. It has a flow to it, and I got really into it for a while. It's constantly engaging and genuinely fun, at least in short bursts, which makes sense since the itch page says the average session is a few minutes. The aesthetic of this game is absolutely where it shines. The pixel art is crisp and charming and just delightful to look at. Everything has this vintage vibe, like someone designed it for the Pico 8 or maybe the Commodore 64. The color palette is really bright, the animations are snappy, and the little details are everywhere if you look for them. My only minor gripe is that the game launches in this tiny window with no full screen option, though to be fair, Bejeweled 3 has the same issue on modern Windows, so I'm not going to be too harsh about it. It's a quirk more than a flaw. The spooky cozy vibe really works. Everything about the presentation says lo-fi flash game you found on Armor Games 10 years ago, and it completely commits to that tone. There's nothing flashy or in your face, just lots of crunchy pixels. Monster Match is an incredibly charming game. It's not perfect, but it is genuinely enjoyable. The replay value is pretty limited. I'd say if you're curious and you're looking for a cozy match 3 to turn off your brain for a few minutes, I'd say go for it. It's free anyways. I'd love to see what the developers do next. If they ever made a sequel with more meaningful progression options, power-ups, and actual win conditions, I'd be genuinely interested.